everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on August 25th, 2016. And, well, they started off the show with a preview of the summit between EC3 and Drew Galloway. It was something that they were doing, like, on top of, like, this hotel or something like that. As like a little thing to set up a little bit more for their match later on. And I'll get into that a little bit later. They started off the show in the actual Impact Zone wise with a battle royal, and the battle royal was to determine who was going to face Bobby Lashley next. And Bobby Lashley comes out first. He gets up on commentary, and this is one thing I really like. They play off the tension from many months ago between the Pope and Bobby Lashley. Is like, if he's going to be down here at commentary, I'm gone, because they were going to play it off as like, oh, that if Pope was going to do something that he probably didn't want to do if he was still down there with Bobby Lashley. So that was one thing I ended up liking. Battle Royal wise, not bad. Not a bad one. Your typical style battle royals. You guys have always known how I feel about them. I always like the battle royal. The NC's Michael Bennett toss out Eddie Edwards and Moose at the same time, where Eddie Edwards has them in the head scissors going over the rope, and he just unceremoniously takes out both of them. So again, they're building up more tension between Moose and Michael Bennett. Like, I feel like since they've done it so quickly, they're going to go on an aspect that it's like this tension is faked tension between them, and it's like, oh, it's going to be something that brings them in together throughout in the end whenever the match happens, which is going to be next week now. They have they even have a backstage segment saying that. They even have a backstage segment where you see like Michael Bennett and Moose arguing, and you have Maria there trying to mediate and like get rid of the cameras or anything in that sense. You also had a good promo between Bobby Lashley and Michael Bennett about the world title match the very next week. I found that promo to be really good as well. And then the other promo was Moose was leaving the arena. A car pulls up to him. It ends up being Bobby Lashley. It's like, hey, it was basically one of those moments like, hey, let's talk business styles. Like, we'll meet up at this place, grab a steak, things like that. So really good stuff setting up things going into next week's world title match with Michael Bennett and Bobby Lashley. So, like I said, I ended up thoroughly enjoying where they went with all of this. Like, there's a lot more promo-wise on this show than there really was match-wise. You had a Matt Hardy promo where Jeff comes out as they started talking. They get interrupted by all three members of Decay, where Rosemary starts it off by cutting herself a promo. Talking about, Decay and Darkness and where they come from and everything in that sense. Then you go into Abyss and Crazy Steve to go along with it. And you even, like, before they're out there, you have Jeff Hardy, or Brother Nero, basically still, like, fighting the fact that he's supposed to be in broken state, but no, he still wants to do things for his creatures and everything in that sense. You see that throughout the entire match that gets set up with Jeff Hardy and Abyss, where whenever he would go to the top rope, Matt was trying to say no, and trying to get him to stop doing things like that, because he's supposed to be broken, and when you're broken, you don't do things in that sense of a way. Also, before the match, he even said, is like during his premonitions and everything. Like, I like the fact he plays off this prepositions. Well, I'm stumbling over the word. His visions in this. His vision, like, he sees who tries to abduct King Maxwell and everything in that sense, and he would reveal it a little bit later on, which he does reveal it to be Crazy Steve, and he starts biting Crazy Steve's ear. This eventually does, everything does eventually lead to where Abyss wins over Jeff Hardy, and I like the aspect in the ring afterwards. You had Crazy Steve is like playing, like with the blood and like toying with toying with Jeff and like making like a little symbol on his head with the blood and everything in that sense. So you got a quick little promo from Matt Hardy berating Jeff over the loss and everything in that sense right afterwards. Not a bad segment. The match was kind of... It was slow. It was a slow match. It wasn't really that good to go along with it. But it did what it needed to do, which was build the story, which is the far more important thing in my mind at that point, because you'd rather see their final match lead into something a lot better. And like the matches leading into it can kind of be meh, as long as the stories are being told well. You had a backstage segment that was with Ali, Maria, Sienna, and eventually Billy Corgan. And you had it starting off with all three of them. It was like, you had Sienna and Maria, or not Sienna, but, well, kind of Sienna and Maria arguing. It was like, why did I not know about a Knockouts title match? And then it was like, and then Maria gets on Allie's case because she didn't read a proper email or something in that sense, and she was trying to figure out who was the one who made the idea. That's where Billy Corgan comes in. That's where, you know, Maria's kind of trying to suck up to him and everything like that. He wasn't having anything of it, and says that there would be multiple challenges for the Knockouts title match, which ended up being Marty Bell, Madison Rayne, Jade, and Allie. You already know where this is going. You already know where this is going. Now, in all fairness to the Allie character, it's supposed to come off that she doesn't know anything about wrestling, while the actual person who is playing the character does know how to wrestle. But they have kind of, style match. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good of a five-way match. It ends with Marty Bell knocking out Allie over Madison Rayne, who had been knocked out by the Cradle Pile Driver from Jade, and Allie gets the pin and gets the win. And the way they got rid of Sienna was that Allie was trying to get the baton from Marty Bell away from her, pulls her away, and accidentally hits Sienna with it. So that's how they do that. So they have it set up this where now Maria's assistant is the Knockouts champion, and you assume they're going to be going somewhere in the sense it probably won't last long with the terms of in the terms of Allie actually holding the title. But like I said, again, it built the story where they were trying to go with everything. So in the end, I ended out not hating the segment. It didn't come off that bad. The EC3 Drew Galloway Summit. Basically, it was this thing where they were kind of, you know, going through their problems and everything like that. And it was just one of those other pre-film segments where, you know, the two of them are talking about everything. They kind of hash things out. They start joking around, saying how far they're going to go, but they also go with the seriousness of the match as well as like how far they were going to go to get the world title shot. Not bad, but almost not necessary as well. Like the segment itself was kind of fun to watch, but it almost felt unnecessary to the match in some way, in any way, shape, or form. You also had a Fact of Life segment with all the X Division stars, which eventually led to a brawl. They all started, well, not all of them, but a couple of them started cutting promos. DJ Z cutting probably the best one out of all of them, and like I said, it eventually leads to all of them brawling, and it's leading into an Ultimate X match, which I'm assuming it's Ultimate X. More likely it will, because it's going to be a stipulation match, more than likely as well. Leading into that match going into next week's Impact to go along with everything. Now, for the EC3 Drew Galloway match, which, by the way, I haven't made mention to him yet, because they have one segment with him, but with Aaron Rex as the special guest referee. You had basically Aaron Rex saying, oh, I'm going to call everything down the middle, everything like that, earlier on in the night. You have one little spot of that beforehand. But on to the match. Really, really good match. Like I said, some of these other matches throughout the night were not really that good. A couple of them weren't really that good, but they built the stories the way they needed to go. So you kind of give it a pass for that. This was just a really good match, and it ends out building a story in the end, where these two guys, hard hitting, going at each other the entire match, and how it ends up is with a roll up in the end. With Aaron Rex counting the pin, EC3 gets the win. He's still going on the Bound for Glory and everything in that sense. And for the sake of what they were going for, which was going to be a Drew Galloway heel turn, they did it right because because throughout the entire match, Aaron Rex was pretty much just there as a referee. He was just counting the pinfall, or like, hey, the submission's going. He doesn't get involved in any way. But after the match, Drew Galloway just completely snaps and takes out Aaron Rex. So this is obviously where they were trying to go. They're gonna Drew snaps, attacks Aaron Rex, and he's probably gonna start blaming him for like screwing him over or something in that sense, even though it didn't happen. So there you go. Good heel turn in that sense of things, and you don't really have to change Drew all that much in the end. He could still go out there and beat down some people and be a tough guy, but he doesn't. But now he's going after faces, and he's saying, "Oh, you guys screwed me over," or this or that, and it's just things in that sense of everything. So overall, this week, Impact was a decent show. It was not a bad show. Like I said, some of the matches were kind of inside of there, especially the Jeff Hardy and Abyss and the Knockouts match. I did not really care for them. The Battle Royal was about your typical standard fare Battle Royal, which I was completely okay with. And the main event was really, really good. At least I thought it was in that sense. But the main aspect is you see where the stories are building and everything in that sense. So the aspect of a couple of those matches not being so good, stories were building, and they're building in a relatively decent way. So it kind of counteracts the aspect of maybe not having such a good matches on the show. So in the end, not a bad show to go along with everything. Pretty decent show. And that is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.